For my project, I decided to use Hamilton's Pool Preserve. I actually had a hard time trying to find a park or trying to remember a park because I was the last one to put my name on the list, and most of the good ones were already taken. But actually, I was thinking 2 days ago was my birthday, and I went with my brother there on my birthday the first time, and it was a great experience. And it was actually it's a good representation of what water weathering and erosion can do to the Texas limestone, and that's why I picked it to represent and show what water can do in the landscape. So a little bit of history and background on the park. So actually, Native Americans lived there around the pool and came to recreate, fish, swim. But to the credit goes to an 80-year-old kid from the Reimers family, which was a family that moved from Germany and bought the land with a government grant for cattle grazing. So a kid found the pool in the 1800s and showed his parents, and they were pretty impressed by the beauty that it created. And they allowed people to come and recreate, but due to the hard transportation in the 1800s, people riding horses, donkeys, mules to get places, only a dozen people came to actually just come and relax in the pool. But that took a change in the 1950s and 60s due to the easier access transportation. Hundreds of people were coming every day, gathering there for the summer especially. And that took a big toll on the land and the ecosystem. And due to that fact, the Travis County wanted to buy the land so they can preserve this unique ecosystem. So in the 1990s, it actually became a public park, and the number of people were limited. And that's why now you gotta buy tickets months in advance because so many people want to go, and the number of people allowed are so few. So my next slide is the location and geography. So it's located about 30 miles west of Austin, and the preserve actually lies in the Balcones Canyonland Preserve, which is a coalition of lots of parks such as Gardner, Los Maples, that join together to preserve the nature in the hill country. It also lies on the Everest Plateau, which is very important to us, especially since we get all of our water from there. The Everest Plateau is like a mountainous region west of us. It expands all the way to the Pecos River. All the rivers that flow through it feed the Aguas Aquifer and end up in the Gulf. So all the water that goes through it, we end up using. That's why it's very important to us. And the Pedernales River and the Hamilton's Creek run through the park and are one of the major water features there. And this next slide on the map it shows the water flow, the common water flow that we see with our eyes or our common naked eyes that we in the surface. So the Pedernales River is the biggest river and the one that causes more geography features on the park. As you can see on the map, it has steep sides that have been slowly eroded away centuries ago, creating slopey canyons with more shaded areas, as you can see here, destroying the limestone with the water as the water flows through it. And the Hamilton's Creek is a smaller representation of it. The creek breaks through the rock the same way the Pedernales does, but in a smaller way, creating a little bit smaller canyon but steeper walls. This slide is a visual representation of that. On the left is the Pedernales River. As you can see, it's a major river, and it cuts through the limestone that is on the sides. Those large boulders. It used to be probably on the bed, but now hundreds and even thousands of years of carving it has made it the way it is. On the right corner is the Hamilton's Creek. It's way smaller than the Pedernales Falls, but as you can see, it's a small representation of it. Same concept, limestone being carved with the flowing water. And in both rivers, we can see that vegetation has moved in and also created physical weathering, like the trees breaking the rock, making it water easier to take it away. Top right corner is just a small picture of the limestone that has been pushed and deposited after thousands of years of traveling. The edges are round from hitting the riverbed, and carving it itself. The next slide is the underground water flow that the park has. So in the park, there's actually an underwater river that's fed by the Edwards Aquifer, and this comes up and feeds the pool, and it keeps it at a constant temperature and a constant flow throughout the year. Even if it's a drought, the pool will remain about the same level. And the pool actually formed from a cave collapse due to the underwater river. So the pool itself used to be a cave, but after thousands of years, the underwater river carved the cave out, and eventually it couldn't hold itself, so it collapsed. And as we can see in the right corner, you can see part of it, and imagine that the whole ceiling of it will expand to the top left of it. That's how it used to be before the river made it collapse. And all this happened because of limestone. So limestone is a common rock that we have in the hill country in the Edwards Plateau, and it's actually not that strong of a rock. It can get eroded really easily, especially by acidic rain, because if it creates a chemical reaction that erodes it away easier. And that's why the Hampton Pools was created. So that was it for my presentation. I'd recommend planning your visit there. It's a good, beautiful park to visit. Lots of birds to see, lots of wildlife, and especially the pool. There's nothing around like it.